Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review season one of the new Netflix spinoff series, Human Resources, which is from Nick Kroll and his team that created Big Mouth. And now we're focusing on all these crazy creatures that have been established and new ones in this world, whether it's hormone monsters or shame wizards or love bugs and ambition goblins, all kinds of different creatures and beings that come in and, you know, influence human behavior. But now we get to see their lives where they work, this workplace comedy, and also all their issues. And I feel like this series could have been something where it's like, oh, let's take some side characters and make them the main characters. And it'd be like stretching a little too thin. But what I appreciate about what they do in this series is they add depth to all these characters. It isn't just like the minions who get put in the forefront and are just as flat and one-dimensional as they were before, just a bunch of banana jokes and stuff like that. Here we get each of these creatures, these beings have feelings and have issues and have friendships and relationships and a bunch of issues that they have to process through. I will admit, I don't know if the human characters grab me as much in this series, and like they're not the focal point, but a there's a decent amount of time that's spent on them. I do think that a few of the cameos are really well paid off, and I'm not going to say, but expect at least one character from Big Mouth to be popping up here and doing exactly what they're known for. But this series, I feel like, spends a lot of time building some new characters because we have some of these love bugs that I feel like are pretty much the center here. We have Emmy, who's played by Aidy Bryant, and Keke Palmer, who plays Rochelle, and they're friends. They're fighting over the same guy. And, you have Emmy, who's very insecure about things, and Keke, who's swooping in and really wanting to make the most of this connection that she has with Dante. And how the heck they got Hugh Jackman to do this series as this angel character that is raunchy as hell and has three penises. Well, they got Hugh Jackman, and he's great. You have Randall Park, who is great, who's a Logic Rock, who that's a fun addition into the series as well. And he has his own feelings about one of his coworkers. One of the characters that gets a lot of fleshing out is the Shame Wizard, voiced by David Thewlis, who up until this point is really just this intense antagonist who pops up and really makes everybody feel terrible about themselves. And then you realize what kind of mommy issues he has, and you're like, oh, he has a lot of his own things to work through. And all of these different kinds of characters. And then like they put a big spotlight on Connie and Maury, Rudolph and Nick Kroll and their relationship. And it adds depth to it. It isn't just them flirting and being raunchy with each other. It's like, what if their relationship took a next step? How would they function through that? And I feel like a lot of these episodes, they have some interesting setups and they have some fun meta jokes. There's at one point, it's just like, if I'm not mistaken, one of these characters that's introduced is voiced by Chris. It is Chris O'Dowd. He's one of the love bugs, and he makes a comment. It's like, oh, they're on one of the other. He's in the main plot for this episode, and you have all those kinds of little fun gags that like wink. We know this is a show kind of thing. It all builds up to the last two episodes. Like the last episode is crazy like action episode, and it deals with a lot of character issues as well, but like it gets crazy and grotesque and raunchy. But one of the things that really stuck out to me, and I think the big highlight of the season, was the second to last episode, which doesn't surprise me. This has the highest rating on IMDb, is an episode where they introduced Henry Winkler's grief sweater and how they deal with grief in that episode. And this is what I love, is they know how to introduce an idea and nail it. And they've had episodes previously where they've introduced some of these extra characters and, like the depression kitty and stuff like that hit really hard. Here, this grief sweater by Henry Winkler steals the show, and how they deal with that issue in this episode, in that episode, is really impactful and something special. And in general, I think this is raunchy, it's funny, it has a lot more heart than you'd probably expect, and it avoids most of the pitfalls of trying to have supporting characters take the center stage in their own spinoff. And if you like Big Mouth, you're definitely going to love this as well. So check it out. It's on Netflix, and I'm assuming it's probably going to get more seasons. But those are my thoughts on season 1 of Human Resources. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.